Okay, good afternoon. My name is Vanessa DeRosa from Mercer Council on Alcoholism and Drug Addiction. I am Program Coordinator for an alcohol use prevention program for students in grades K through 5 called Protecting You, Protecting Me. Thank you for joining me today for today's presentation. As mentioned in the event flyer, one participant will be chosen at random at the end of the webinar to win a Wonders of the Brain Science Kit. When instructed to do so, please type and send me just your first name in the chat box and your answer to the following question, which will be shown on the next slide. And we have just a participant coming on, so I'll admit them. Okay. If you were a superhero, which superpower would you have? Super strength, super speed, super stretch, invisibility, or enhanced senses, which means increased sense of smell, taste, touch, hearing, and sight. So what I'll do, I'll take the first names and enter them into a virtual prize wheel to determine the winner of the Brain Science Kit, which will be revealed following the presentation. Please type and send just your first name along with your answer to the question beside your name in the chat box now. Okay, so we have the superpowers that participants are writing down in the chat box include invisibility, and we have enhanced senses, a lot for invisibility, and then we have enhanced senses. Okay, good. I give another few seconds. Again, if you haven't done so, please type and send me your first name along with your answer to the question, which superpower would you like to have if you were a superhero? Okay. Okay, I believe, okay. Okay, so thank you all for providing me your name and answer to the question. Okay, so it's fun to imagine what superpower we would have if we are in fact superheroes. It could be difficult even to decide on just one because they all seem so cool to have. So I decided to start the webinar off today with this question because, as you all know, today's presentation is all about the brain. Well, the brain possesses all these superpowers and is a superhero to the rest of our body. Our brain has super strength and power, so the human brain and computer are alike in that they both use electrical signals to send messages. The difference is that a computer with repeated use will use up its storage, its speed will decrease, and the components will burn out. But our brains continue to run with high efficiency every moment of our lives. Super speed, this explains the brain's ability to process information at lightning speed. Super stretch, this explains the brain's ability to be shaped and get bigger when we learn new things and build on what we already know. Invisibility explains the complexity of this organ and still the many mysteries and secrets it holds that has yet to be discovered. And enhanced senses, because our brain controls our ability to taste, touch, see, hear, and smell. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Dr. Rola Bekdash. Dr. Bekdash is a full-time biology professor at Rutgers University. and a biology scholar with extensive experience in teaching and research. She received her BS degree and MS degree in biology from the American University of Beirut and her PhD in neuroscience from Rutgers University and UMDNJ Robert Wood Johnson Medical School. In 2012, she joined the anesthesiology department at Columbia University as a postdoctoral research fellow. She got awarded the Ruth Kirstein National Research Science Award Individual Fellowship from the National Institute of Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism to investigate the long-term effects of substance abuse, such as alcohol abuse during adolescence on inhibition in the brain. In 2015, she joined Rutgers University as a professor teaching undergraduates and graduates in the Biological Sciences Department. In 2020, she got her MBA in Strategy and Leadership from Rutgers Business School. Her research focuses on the long-term effects of gene-environment interaction during early development on brain function and behavior. Her goal is to apply her research to help people overcome addiction and live a better life. Her teaching goals are to help students acquire transferable skills that set them up for career success. Thank you, Dr. Bekdash, for being with us today. I will stop my screen share at this time and turn over the presentation to you.
Thank you, Vanessa, for the introduction. Vanessa, can we put, oh, should I put it on the other side? Can you see my screen, by the way?
I can see your screen.
Okay. Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Rola Bekdash. Again, thank you, Vanessa, for the nice introduction. And thank you to the Mercer Council on Alcoholism and Drug Addiction for inviting me. And thank you to the kids. Sorry, and thank you to the kids and parents who are joining us today. So this is the title of our talk, Learn Neuroscience, Alcohol, and the Developing Brain. Now, you probably heard that alcohol is bad to your brain, right? So to understand this, we have to learn a little bit today about neuroscience. That is how our brain functions and how it could be hurt by alcohol. And by the way, my research focus, as Vanessa stated, is really the topic of today, the effect of alcohol or underage drinking on the developing brain. So why are we here today? This week is the Brain Awareness Week. So it is really a great opportunity for us to learn a little bit about how our brain functions and how bad stuff like alcohol drinking at your age is really dangerous and harmful, and what can we do to protect it? So this is how our brain looks like. It is in our head. It enables you to respond to your surroundings. So because of it, you can now see me and you can hear me. Because of it, you can walk, jump, play, talk, and even have emotions, like being sad, happy, or angry. So without it, the rest of the body cannot really function. So let's have a closer look at the brain. So as you see, the brain is wrinkly on the outside. It's not a smooth surface. So it is like a sheet of paper or newspaper folded on itself. And it does that so that it can fit inside your head. So as you see here on the back, we have also a little part. This is your little brain. So we will learn later on that it is important for your balance and coordination. And we have that part here is the brain stem. And this is the part that connects your brain with the rest of the body. So again, this is how your brain looks like. So inside our brain, we have a lot of cells. We call them neurons. These are the cells that really do the job, and this is how they look like. So they have here a center, and then you have a long extension, and out of it, we have small branches. And these small branches communicate with other branches of other neurons. So in other words, these cells, they communicate with each other. They are very, very fast. They are special cells. And because of them, we can do everything that we can do every day, like learning, walking, playing, talking, feeling, and even sleeping. So this is another view of how these cells look like. So they look like really a tree, right? So this is the center, and we have many, many branches. So this is how they communicate with each other and how also they reach out to each other. So they are really very, very fast. And the signal between these neurons is an electrical signal. So very special cells. So this is another look at our brain. And inside our brain, we have all of these special cells. So don't forget, they are very special. They are very fast. Now, you've probably seen a pecan, right? So it is really a healthy snack. So a brain kind of looks like a pecan, but it is much, much bigger. So look how our brain is much bigger than the brain of a monkey and much, much bigger than the brain of a mouse. And in our brain, we have around 86 billion of these neurons or brain cells. So they are, again, very special and very, very fast. And that's why, because we have a big brain, we are smarter, right, from monkeys or from the mouse. Now, this is how a real human brain will look like. It is very, very delicate, so that you have really to take care of it. So you notice that it is protected by glistening membrane here, but also it is protected by our skull. So remember, when you ride your bike, you have to put a helmet in order to protect your skull and also to protect your brain. Another thing is that the brain has a lot of blood vessels, and this is how it gets its nutrient and oxygen so that you can do what you do in your life. Now let's see here. So the brain has many parts that allow us to respond to our environment and do all the things that we do every day. For example, this pink part that you see here allows you to understand sensations. So for example, if you touch a hot stove, you will feel hotness. Or if you hurt yourself, you can feel pain because of that part of the brain. Now here, that part at the back of your brain, which you see here in green, enable you basically to see everything around you and to understand what you're seeing. For example, now you can see me and you can see what I'm wearing and also the color of my clothes because of this part of the brain. Now, third, that part that you see here in yellow, it enables you to hear everything. So right now you can hear me, you can hear my voice, and you can understand what I'm saying because of that part of the brain. Now, in the front of your brain, we have a large part that you see here in light green, and this is your decision center. So in a way, it enables you really to differentiate between good stuff and bad stuff, and basically decide what you really need to do. Now, at the back of your brain, we have a small part, we call it little brain. And this is the one that maintains your balance. So if there is something wrong here, you may fall down and you will not be able to coordinate your actions. And finally, that part that you see here in blue, we call it the brain stem. So out of it, we have a lot of nerves that are going to communicate your brain with the rest of the body. So in a way, we have here nerves that can innervate the muscles in your hands and also the muscles in your leg and tell them exactly what they should do. So you can move your hands, you can move your legs because of these nerves coming out of this brainstem. So in a way, when alcohol mixes with different parts of the brain, they will really have hard time to do their job. So why this is the case? Now, what is alcohol? Well, alcohol is a chemical that is found in some drinks like beer and wine. It's quite volatile. So when someone drinks it, it goes everywhere in the brain. And alcohol has stronger bad effects on you than on adults. So if someone gives you alcohol to drink or asks you, do you want to try some? Just say no, it's not for me, and always talk to your parents. So here the message is that kids and alcohol do not mix, because alcohol is really very dangerous and very harmful to young kids like you. So why alcohol is bad for you? Now, when it is young, the oak tree that you see here on the left side is easily hurt. You can step on it by mistake. You can break one of its baby branches, and it will not be big and strong when it grows up like the one that you see on the right side. Also, this baby oak tree, you need to feed it every day, give it the right nutrients, and water it to grow healthy. So your brain is like the oak tree. When it is young, you have to be really, really careful. You want to grow it big, strong, and smart. So when your body is still growing, alcohol is very, very bad for it in ways that is not bad for grown-ups. So do you want to hurt your brain? Of course not. So you really have to take care of it. So you should really eat good stuff and don't take bad stuff like drugs or drink alcohol. Because when you do that, you're really hurting your brain and it will not function well. So let's see, what does alcohol do to your brain? So if alcohol hits that area of the brain that you see here in red, you will have hard time to control your feelings. You can get very angry, sad, or even confused, and you don't even really know what is going on around you. Now, if alcohol reaches that part of your brain that you see in red, which is your little brain, you might lose your balance and fall and get seriously hurt. And also it will affect how you speak, and people will not be able really to make sense of what you are talking about. Now, if alcohol hits that area or reach that area of the brain, which is inside, you may forget many things, even the name of your friend. You will not be able to remember to do your homework, or even remember what your teacher explained the day before at school, or what your mom asked you really to do. So as you see, that alcohol is really very harmful to the brain and very dangerous to young kids like you. So there is a way to see what's going on inside our brain. And doctors use this huge machine that you see here, and we call it the MRI machine. What does it do? It records brain activity. So the brain of the person who didn't drink alcohol that you see here on the left side, you see that a lot more going on. It is brighter and healthier, and it's really lighting up like a Christmas tree. But the brain of the person who doesn't drink too much alcohol that you see here on the right side shows little going on, and it's really darker. So which brain would you want? The one on the left side or the one on the right side? I'm pretty sure you are going to choose this brain on the left side. Now, in the laboratory, neuroscientists like me study the effect of alcohol on the brain by working with mice or rats, because really they are very easy to work with, and you can see how cute this mouse is. Now, this is what we found. With no alcohol, this mouse is normal, happy, and smart. Now, this mouse with very little alcohol is quite nervous and hyperactive. Now, this mouse with a little more alcohol will become depressed, headachy, and confused. And finally, this mouse with even more alcohol will become unconscious and doesn't really know what's going on around it. And if you give it more and more alcohol, it may die. So here, even in tiny amounts, alcohol is dangerous to children like you because your body and brain are still growing and developing. So you really have to take care of your brain. So how do we take care of our brain? Well, we have to make healthy choices. So have good sleep and go to sleep on time every day. Play with your friends. Eat healthy foods such as vegetables, fruits, meat, and nuts. Drink plenty of water because water is not only good for your brain, but also good for your body. And also exercise at school or play with your siblings or go for a walk with your parents. And remember, the brain is like a muscle, right? The brain is like a muscle. It needs exercise. So when you do that, it becomes stronger and healthier. So then the take-home message for today is that kids and alcohol do not mix. So if someone asks you, do you want to drink or try some, say no and talk to your parents. And remember, alcohol has stronger bad effects on young kids than adults. So alcohol is really very harmful and dangerous to young kids like you. So take care of your brain. Thank you very much for listening. And now I will be happy to take questions.